What's up everybody, Subaru fan here from Mustang with Lee update number 34 on this Friday. So, what's new with the Mustang? Well, as you know, it's Cobb tuned now. Cobb Stage 1 93 map, and it's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. And you'll see, if you watch the review video of the tune, that it's a really, really nice improvement. And so, I'm loving the extra power, of course, that's without a doubt. But there's some interesting things that this additional power and the different throttle mapping has made this car better in several odd ways that I never expected. And so, there's other reviews and things you can read on forums about these tunes and how great they are. But a few things that I was totally unaware of that I really like. And the first thing is that this throttle map, it makes it really nice in a few different scenarios. So first is whenever you're inching up in traffic and stuff like that, because the throttle almost feels like it's in the sport mode. If you have a premium, you have the different driving modes, and throttle response is sharper with the sport mode. This is just a hair less responsive than the sport mode, but it's so much sharper than the standard throttle. So without even being in sport mode, it's just really easy to inch up because it takes less pedal travel to inch up. And I've found myself just when I'm inching up in traffic and rush hour and stuff, it's a whole lot easier to just engage the clutch smoothly. And I don't know, it's easier to drive in traffic. It's crazy. But the other thing is, because of the increased throttle response, it's easier to rev match this car now. When I'm downshifting and rev matching my downshifts, which I'll probably be doing a manual driving video because a lot of you have been requesting that. Hold on, I had to do a little acceleration. It now really spins in first, even if it's dry outside too, which is awesome. But so with rev matching my downshifts, it's so much easier to do now. It was really hard before because this car stock, well, either way, it has a very heavy flywheel, and that still is true of this car now. But with the quicker throttle response, it feels like it has a lighter flywheel. It's easier because of the aggressive throttle mapping to rev match my downshifts a whole lot smoother, which is also a very nice perk that I did not expect at all. Another thing, some people have said, what about your gas mileage? Is it really going to be bad? And I think I've been driving the car a little harder this week than I normally do, naturally, because of the additional power that I wanted to exploit at every possible opportunity, like what you just saw. Because of that, my fuel economy has only dropped by 1 mile per gallon, though, even with the more aggressive than usual driving. So some people have reported gains with this tune, that it's actually more economical than stock, and I have no trouble believing that, because if I'm only 1 mile per gallon lower, I love it. Even if I'm only 1 mile per gallon lower, with aggressive driving, I'm sure I'll end up being either at the same miles per gallon that I was before, or slightly higher. So I'm at 25.7 miles per gallon average since I flashed this tune. Gone through about a tank and a half of gas. So that's where I'm at as far as that's concerned. I will keep you guys updated on my fuel economy over the next several weeks in the life of the car. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. There's no downsides. There's really no downsides at all. And some people are like, it sounds like too good to be true. Like, you get all this benefit, you get all these improvements, there's no sacrifice, no trade-off. And there really isn't, except that you have to pay for it. It's not free, of course, but for $500, like I said in the review video, it's the bargain mod for this car. It's the best thing you can do, bang for your buck, for this car by far. $500 will not buy you much else. You can't even get an exhaust system. Most exhaust systems are more expensive than that. So to give all that extra power, it's just awesome. And so I still adore this tune. Best thing you can do to this car. There'll be more things coming in the future, but for now I'm very happy. It's funny though, especially with modifying a car for power, how much more power hungry you get, I should say, because I'm getting used to the power after having this for almost a week on the car now. I'm like, this is really fun, and it's way more fun than stock, but I could even go for more power, and that's why Cobb has their stage tunes. There's going to be a stage 2 and a stage 3 once they roll out the hard parts to go with the software update. So there's things you have to do before you go into these different stages. You have to get an intake and a front mount intercooler and a turbo back exhaust, and all that stuff will come from Cobb eventually. It's just not ready yet. They spend a lot of time making sure everything's perfect and really, really well done. And so that's why there's other options out there in the aftermarket for those that want to do it, but Cobb isn't releasing their tunes and their parts until it's 100% ready, totally troubleshooted, totally, you know, figured out. And that's why I really like the Cobb. Like I mentioned in the review video, Cobb is just, they really take their time and make sure they get it right, and you can tell this tune is just spectacular. And the car runs totally smooth, no issues whatsoever, everything is totally normal. And yeah, so, and I know one other thing is, you know, some people have mentioned, I've addressed this on Instagram in comments, and I've addressed this in the comments on YouTube even, but about the whole warranty thing, and people were saying, well, that was my big holdup. That was the reason why I didn't want to get a tune for the longest time. But after hearing so many stories from so many people about tunes not being an issue, and most dealerships are cool with them, and I'm confident that the dealership that I'm working with will be cool with tunes and things like that based on others' experiences at the same dealership. So I really don't think I'll run into an issue, and no one's had issues with these cars with the tunes on them, you know, as long as they're reasonable tunes, I guess you should say. So, you know, I'm not really worried about the tune at all. I think the car is going to run fine, but I am one of the higher mileage cars. I'm at 17,688 miles now, so we'll see, you know, how it holds up. But I mean, it's doing really well, and I mean, you know, based on Cobb's tunes for the Focus STs that have done tons and tons of miles, I mean, their tunes are pretty solid. So I'm not really worried about any issues. I don't think I'm going to have any issues, hopefully, but yeah, I don't think I will. And so yeah, it's just nothing but smiles here with this tune. So yeah, fun times. But that's it for all the updates on the Mustang, guys. I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news, the first thing is some news from Subaru for the 2016 model year. They're introducing a new special edition called the Hyper Blue that they're going to be doing, and it's this very cool, it almost looks like the Volvo Polestar blue color, but it's a lighter blue. I think it's a really good color. I think it looks really good. And so the Hyper Blue editions are coming for the WRX STI and the BRZ. They're doing 500 of the BRZs and I believe 700 of the STIs. And it's just strictly cosmetic stuff. So it's just, and they have the blacked out wheels, blacked out mirrors, and on the inside there's some blue bits here and there. And overall they look good, but still nothing else new performance-wise for either of them. So hopefully we'll see revisions of both in 2017. It'd be nice to have a more powerful BRZ, which is rumored for next year, and to have a more powerful version of the STI, which is also rumored. So we'll see what happens, but for 2016 all we're getting is new limited edition color, and that's it. So it's something, but not much. Another exciting bit of news is that the 2016 Mazda Miatas have started arriving in America here. There's a picture of one driving off of a ship here, and so look for the new Miatas to be in your dealerships and on the roads here very soon. Some awesome small car news is Mercedes officially revealed the updated A-Class, which we don't get here in America. We get the CLA and then the GLA, but we do not get the actual A-Class hatch. But this refresh is exciting for future AMG versions here in America, because the A-Class refresh includes a faster A45 AMG, which is the same mechanicals used in the CLA 45 and the, of course, GLA 45. So the motor used to do 355 horsepower. It's now 381 horsepower from this little four-cylinder turbocharged engine that could, which is amazing to see. And man, that's I mean, that's gonna be faster, of course, but it's got to sound meaner. It's got to just be better in every possible way. So hopefully that engine makes its way into an updated CLA and GLA here in a year or so. But for now, it's only in the A45. But it's awesome to see that they're turning up the power on that even more. Other awesome Mercedes news is that Mercedes AMG just teased something faster that's coming, and so not sure what it is, but it sounds like a V8. And so what the guess is here is that this is either a Black Series version of the new AMG GT, or since that's a little early still, it seems that the car just came out this year, it'd be kind of early to do a black edition. But I think what they're thinking is this could just be like a super light race kind of version, not the actual GT3 race car, but a road going version of that car is what they're thinking, which makes sense considering the teaser video was on a racetrack and stuff. But we'll have to wait and see. But something awesome coming from Mercedes AMG. Something awesome was confirmed this past week is that Lamborghini officially confirmed they're doing an SV Roadster, which shouldn't surprise any of us, and the more Lambos, the better. Other awesome supercar news is that there's a rumor that they're going to be doing a limited run version of the Ferrari F12 GTO, that they're bringing a GTO version to the Frankfurt Motor Show here in September, which would be amazing. According to the rumors here, they would make 650 of them, which is slightly more than the 599 of the 599 GTO that they made. But on top of that, they're saying they could use the CARES system out of the LaFerrari so that instead of this making just the measly 731 horsepower, it could do 800 horsepower. I don't think anyone has driven the Ferrari F12 and said, this really needs to be faster. I mean, even Jeremy Clarkson said he wishes it had less power. That's Jeremy Clarkson saying less power. So I think this car is plenty fast enough, but Ferrari, just being the insane, awesome people they are, there's this rumor that they're doing 800 horsepower in the F12 GTO, which sounds like heaven in a car form. That's just amazing, and hopefully that is something that comes true and that's factual, because that would be so amazing. Other supercar news is McLaren confirmed that they're going to be doing a Sports Series Spider, which is the convertible version of the Sports Series Baby supercar they just revealed. And they said that the Spider is coming in 2017, but that there's going to be a different body style coming out for 2016. What that is, I don't know. I mean, some people have said there could be a Targa version. Some have even said like a shooting brake version, like a wagon kind of thing, which would be epic. Not sure what's going on, but we haven't really seen any spy shots yet or anything like that, so it's anybody's guess at this point. Speaking of spy shots, though, Aston Martin, they've been constantly running their new DB11 around the ring constantly and getting lots of test data and whatever. And what it's looking like is one of the spy photographers got up close to the car and snapped some pictures of the interior. And it looks like from the interior has lots of pieces straight out of the S-Class coupe, including the digital gauges and the little controllers and things like that down by the center column. And so it looks like they're going to be doing a lot of Mercedes parts, which I think that Aston Martin interiors were always beautiful. I didn't think that was really an area that needed help, aside from the infotainment, which was obviously very much lacking. But aside from that, I thought Aston Martin did a great job on their interiors and didn't need Mercedes help. But if you're going to take parts from Mercedes, the S-Class interior is one of the most glorious interiors ever made. So that's a good place to start stealing from if that's what you're going to do. So should just make this Aston Martin even cooler. Other luxury car news is there's a couple stories here from Bentley this week, and the first is that Bentley is currently reportedly deciding on whether they want to produce the Speed 6, which is the awesome concept that was revealed recently, or a smaller SUV. And with how hot SUVs are, I'm sure Bentley is going to go for the SUV, because the optimist in me wants to think that they would make a sportier, hardcore Bentley, but that's not going to sell as well as an SUV would. Probably wouldn't even sell as well as the Continental does. So, I think that it's probably going to be that they end up making a smaller SUV. I didn't realize they were considering a smaller SUV, but it sounds like they are, and that will almost certainly win out over the Speed 6, which was amazing. Other disappointing news from Bentley is there's a report here saying that the Continental GT, which has had a restyling in the past few years, hasn't gotten a new Super Sports version since the last Bentley Continental GT. So everyone was hoping they'd be doing a Super Sports or a GT3 kind of version or something like that. Not the case. Bentley is saying that they're not doing any kind of enhanced performance version of the Continental GT, which is really a shame. So they're just focusing on their SUV, and they say that's all that they have time for right now is doing the Bentley Bentayga SUV and developing that. And so hopefully these SUVs are a hit, and once they get that out of their system and get them on the market, they can start focusing on the really awesome Bentleys once again. Next is a couple exciting stories from Lexus, and the first is that Lexus has officially unveiled the IS200T, which is going to be coming out in Europe just now, but they're going to be bringing it to America as well. So it replaces the 2.5-liter V6 engine, which was always not super quick, and they're replacing it with this little turbocharged 4-cylinder, which is what everyone's going with these days, but it gives a more peppy performing car than the previous. I mean, the V6 was 37 less horsepower than this, and so it was just barely over 200 horsepower, And so, I mean, the turbo, of course, gives you 73 extra pound-feet of torque with this Turbo 4 over the V6. So this is going to be a quicker base car, which is definitely good news. And honestly, that would probably be even more exciting than the upper IS 350, most likely. But cool to see that they're enhancing that. And other Lexus news, something that they're bringing back from the dead, is the SC name. So there is the SC 430 that was hated or loved depending on who you talk to, and then of course the SCs of the 90s. Well, Lexus is bringing back that name for their next big expensive coupe. So we've been seeing lots of these LFLCs and all these other large coupe concepts, but nothing has been actually materializing from them yet. But for whatever large coupe they do make, and it'll probably be a convertible as well, they're going to be bringing back the SC name, and that is what this report is saying. It would do battle against the BMW 6 Series and the Mercedes SL, and should be pretty awesome. So I'm hoping that Lexus goes one step further and just makes it into a supercar, but SC would stand for supercar. That would make sense. But yeah, so we'll see what happens, but cool to see that Lexus is developing a new Halo car. And a really interesting report this week is that Red Bull is considering making a road-going supercar. So, they have their race cars, of course, and things like that. But now it's saying that, obviously they've been working with Infiniti and, doing all that kind of stuff with them for their race cars. And, they've been sponsored by Infiniti for a while and vice versa. But now it's saying that Red Bull is considering a road-going supercar. And this won't be the first time that a race team has decided to make a street car. And this is not confirmed. This is just something they're considering. But you might be talking about a Red Bull supercar here very soon. So that would be amazing. Other amazing, awesome news is Hennessey has just made an F-250 Velociraptor SUV, which is basically bringing back the Excursion, which was the huge SUV that Ford discontinued 10 years ago, just by making an SUV version of the F-250 chassis. And of course, it has all the great Hennessey bits to give it all kinds of power and whatnot. So, they're saying that this is going to be doing 440 horsepower with a Power-Stroke diesel engine with 880 pound-feet of torque. Holy torque. So that's a lot of torque, and they're saying it'll be 160 grand for the conversion, so not cheap at all. Next, though, is Mopar unveiled the Dodge Challenger drag pack this week, and it's a fully race-prepped drag car. You can get either with a supercharged V8 or a naturally aspirated V8. But they're saying that these cars, though, will do 8-second range quarter-mile times, so it's fully prepped. And stupid fast, obviously, to do 8-second quarter miles. So that's pretty awesome. It has a whole list of, this is considering it's on drag slicks and whatnot. So, probably won't even be street legal, but this is obviously just for drag racing and whatnot. It has a roll cage already ready to go and everything else. They also updated the scat packs for the Charger and the Challenger. So there's extra power with the new scat pack because it has a new cam, all that kind of stuff. It gives it an extra 56 horsepower now. So 30 extra pound-feet of torque as well, all with a factory warranty. So Dodge is just awesome with all these awesome things they're giving people that they know they want. It's just very satisfying to see that. Other news is Audi officially unveiled the new 2016 Audi A4 this past week. And, from all the spy shots we saw, I thought it was going to look a little more different than it does. It's larger, it looks longer, it's lighter, it lost 264 pounds. So it'll be more economical and faster and better handling and better performing in probably every single way. But it just, to me, it doesn't look that great. I don't know. It looks good. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look different enough from the previous version. And I would have been okay if they even just made a sedan version of the TT, because I think the new TT looks pretty cool, even though that is still not quite as revolutionary as I had hoped for. But this A4 just looks a lot like, more of the same from Audi. Nothing super exciting here over the past few years, in my opinion. But the cool thing about this A4 is the all-digital dashboard, which is exclusive. None of the other competitors can claim to have that. And it's the same one you get in the TT, and it's also, in the Lamborghini Huracan and all that kind of stuff. Very cool display, and so that's going to be probably the competitive edge they're going for, is the cooler interior. So, that's the new Audi A4. So look for the S4 and hopefully RS4 variants down the road, but for now, that's the new A4. Another car revealed this past week was Lotus unveiled the new Extreme. It's called the 311, and they've had these cars before, but this one, it's picking up where the 211 left off, and it's just crazy. So this thing has a 3.5 liter supercharged V6, same thing in the Lotus Evora 400, but now it's doing 450 horsepower, 332 pounds-feet of torque in this tiny little Exige thing that they said it has a curb weight of less than 2,000 pounds. Less than 2,000 pounds. Now, BRZ is considered lightweight at 27 or 2,800 pounds. 800 pounds less than a BRZ, 450 horsepower. Now, this is, of course, not street legal, only for the racetrack, but man, that thing sounds like a riot to drive. So, that's pretty awesome. Something else, some cars that were spied this past week. The Cadillac XT5 was caught during a photo shoot, and I think that looks really handsome. I like the way that looks a lot. It obviously borrows heavily from the CT6 and that kind of styling. And this isn't going to replace the Escalade or anything. This is supposed to be a replacement for the SRX SUV, and I think that's going to be a knockout. Hopefully that sells really well, but I think that that's going to do very well. It's a very good-looking SUV, and some other stuff that was spied this week was the next-gen BMW M5. Now, we've been seeing 5 Series mules running around, but now we're seeing the M5 version, and obviously heavily camouflaged, so who knows what it's going to really look like. But it's going to be one heck of a car, I'm sure. The M5s always are. So very cool to see that being developed. And another car that was spied this past week was the new Ford Escape. Now, this won't be a totally new car. It's just going to be a refresh on the current, platform. But it's going to, have the new Sync 3 entertainment system, have some mild refreshes to the headlights, taillights, stuff like that. That's why, you can see parts of the car camouflage, the front end, the nose and stuff. It'll probably look a little bit more like the Edge. Have some newer stuff on the inside there, but overall still a similar car, but much improved, I'm sure. And for a couple of cars that are being killed off. First is that Nissan is killing the Pathfinder hybrid version for the 2016 lineup, and I think hybrid SUVs just don't really sell that well, and Nissan's realizing that. So they're still going to have the regular Pathfinder, of course. They're just nixing the hybrid version. If you do want a Nissan hybrid SUV, though, you can still get the Infiniti version, which is going to continue on. But for now, they're discontinuing the Pathfinder hybrid. And this is a cancellation that's long overdue, and that is the Scion XB, which will not see a 2016 model year. They said 2015 is it, and that's it. That's officially according to the Scion VP. So it's been a fun 10 years or so here for the XB, and it was a huge success in the beginning. Now, though, just no demand for them anymore, which is kind of sad, but I guess all good things must come to an end, and sounds like the XB has reached the end of the line finally. And lastly is a whole car company that's going under, and it's a small one though, you might not have ever heard of, called Venturi. Now they've been doing cars in the past, they did cars years and years ago. They've been around for a while. You might remember some of their cars from the Gran Turismo games, things like that. Anyway, they're killing off their car production. They also were working on an electric motorcycle that they're killing off as well. And they were going to do electric supercars, but that never really panned out. And so they're still in racing, and they're still going to be doing racing, but as far as their production vehicles are concerned, that is no longer going to be happening. So yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys. I'll send it back to me in the car. Alrighty, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. I've noticed about the 10 since I've flashed that I forgot to mention is that speed comes a whole lot easier, which is probably an obvious statement to make, but I've just noticed that it's easier, not only just full throttle accelerations, but I've just noticed that, oh wait, I'm going faster, because I'm so used to driving this car a certain way and giving it a certain amount of gas to go a certain speed, and now it's like I need to do less to get the same speed, and so now I'm like, if I drive the car the way I used to before, I'm going a whole lot quicker than I used to, which takes a little getting used to, and hopefully a cop doesn't catch you while you're getting used to holding yourself back a little more than before, and so that's a fun problem to have, but yeah, it's just really, really fun, and that also applies to passing people, like on the highway. It's just so much easier to, get someone past very quickly and just, make moves in traffic and whatnot. It's just makes this car so much more drivable. Not that it wasn't, very good to drive before, but drivability now is just so much better in just about every way. So, another little acceleration. Oh man, so much fun. So anyway, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you next week. Take care.